Some abandoned cars look sad, but abandoned limousines feel different. They do not only look forgotten, they look like rooms of power that were left behind. A long black body covered in dust. A chrome grille still standing with quiet authority. A rear cabin with cracked leather, faded wood, and a glass partition that once separated the passenger from the world outside. These cars were not built for ordinary driving. They were built for arrival. For presidents, kings, diplomats, executives, dictators, ambassadors, celebrities, and people whose lives required privacy, silence, and ceremony. And when machines like that are abandoned, the story becomes deeper than neglect. It becomes history sleeping under dust. Today on Timeless Treasures, we are looking at the most expensive abandoned limousines and the engineering hidden inside them. Because a great limousine was never just a stretched luxury car. At its highest level, it was a moving room of authority. And some of the most fascinating examples were engineered for a world that no longer exists in the same way. The first limousine in this story is one of the most powerful luxury cars ever built, the Mercedes-Benz 600 Pullman. Introduced in the 1960s, the 600 was not simply a large Mercedes. It was a statement of absolute control. Long, heavy, silent, and deeply over-engineered, it became a favorite of royalty, heads of state, dictators, industrial leaders, and the ultra-powerful. What made it extraordinary was not only its size, it was the engineering. The 600 used a complex hydraulic system to operate windows, seats, doors, trunk functions, and comfort features with smooth, quiet force. The idea was simple. Nothing in the car should feel weak, cheap, or ordinary. Even opening a window had to feel like authority. The Pullman version stretched that philosophy even further, creating a rear compartment designed for people who were not meant to drive themselves. Thick doors, deep seats, wood trim, privacy, silence, distance from the outside world. But this kind of engineering came with a cost. When maintained properly, the 600 was magnificent. When neglected, it could become brutally expensive to repair. That is why abandoned or forgotten examples feel so haunting. Under the dust, there may be one of the most serious luxury machines ever made, but also a car that demands the financial commitment of a small institution. The Mercedes 600 Pullman was built to isolate power. And when one is found abandoned, it feels like power itself has been left behind. Then there is the Rolls-Royce Phantom 5 and Phantom 6. If the Mercedes 600 represented technical authority, the Phantom limousine represented ceremonial dignity. These cars were not built to shout. They were built to arrive with calm, silent confidence. Used by royalty, ambassadors, governments, and elite institutions, the Phantom limousine carried the old British understanding of prestige. The most powerful presence in the room does not need to raise its voice. Inside, the experience was about restraint and material seriousness. Wood veneer, deep carpets, leather or fine cloth, rear seating designed for comfort and posture, doors that closed with weight, a grille that announced the car before a word was spoken. The engineering was not about drama. It was about smoothness, silence, and reliability of presence. A Rolls-Royce limousine had to make the passenger feel removed from ordinary life. The driver handled the road. The car handled the atmosphere. The passenger existed inside a private chamber of status. When these cars end up stored away, neglected, or forgotten in old collections, they carry a strange sadness. They were built for ceremonies, royal roads, embassy gates, and formal entrances. They were not built to sit under dust. But that contrast is exactly what makes them powerful. A forgotten phantom is not just an old luxury car. It is abandoned ceremony. Across the Atlantic, America had its own formal limousine language, the Cadillac Fleetwood 75. For decades, the Fleetwood 75 represented American institutional luxury. It served executives, hotels, funeral homes, government offices, wealthy families, and anyone who needed a car that looked official before it even moved. This was American scale. Long body, soft ride, V8 power, wide seats. The engineering was less exotic than a Mercedes 600, but that was part of its strength. The Cadillac limousine was built around American durability, serviceability, and road presence. It had to work in cities, on highways, outside hotels, and across long distances. It was a professional luxury machine. That is why abandoned Fleetwoods are so interesting. Many were used hard, not preserved like museum pieces. When one is found faded and forgotten, the where tells a different kind of story. A Cadillac Fleetwood limousine reminds us that luxury was once a public role. Then there were the ZIL limousines of the Soviet Union. A ZIL limousine was not luxury in the normal consumer sense. It was built for state power, secrecy, control, and official movement. ZIL limousines carried Soviet leaders through parades, government routes, official ceremonies, and controlled public appearances. They were about institutional authority. Many of these cars became relics of a vanished system. Some survived in museums. Some remained in state collections. A ZIL under dust does not feel like a lost luxury toy. The Daimler DS420. Produced for decades, the DS420 became a familiar sight in weddings, funerals, embassies, hotels, and official service. It was not as globally mythic as a Rolls-Royce Phantom, but it was deeply connected to formal life. The DS420 understood the limousine as a vehicle of service. It had space, dignity, rear seating. It was not trying to be futuristic. It was trying to be correct. Some limousines are built to impress. Others are built to belong to ceremony. The DS420 belonged. When examples are abandoned, they often feel like retired servants of history. Their engineering was not about extreme complexity. It was about durability, space, and formal dignity. America's political and executive world also gave us the Lincoln Continental limousine. A Lincoln limousine carries a different emotional weight because it sits close to power and national memory. Inside, the limousine version was about separation. The passenger protected from the street, the driver managing the public world, the cabin becoming a private space inside a public event. A presidential or executive limousine is never just a luxury object. That is why old Lincoln limousines, when forgotten or stored away, can feel so heavy with meaning. They remind us that the limousine was not only about wealth, it was also about visibility and vulnerability. The person inside needed to be seen arriving, but also protected from the world watching. That tension shaped limousine design for decades. Before limousines became standardized products, many were custom-built bodies placed on prestigious chassis from names like Rolls-Royce, Packard, Hispano-Suiza, Cadillac, and other luxury manufacturers. A wealthy owner could choose the body style, interior layout, rear compartment, and ceremonial details. This is where the limousine becomes most revealing. The engineering was not only mechanical, it was social. The car was designed around hierarchy. Who sat where? Who opened the door? Who was seen? Who remained hidden? Who controlled the machine? And who was carried by it? When pre-war coach-built limousines are discovered abandoned in old estates, barns, garages, or forgotten collections, the leather may be cracked, the paint may be dull, but the original idea remains visible. A moving room built for a world of chauffeurs, estates, servants, formal dinners, private clubs, and inherited status. That world has changed, but the machines still remember it. Look at all of these limousines together, and the pattern becomes clear. The Mercedes 600 Pullman was engineered for absolute authority. The Rolls-Royce Phantom was built for ceremony and quiet prestige. The Cadillac Fleetwood 75 represented American institutional luxury. The ZIL limousine carried state power and secrecy. The Daimler DS420 served rituals of public life. The Lincoln Continental limousine represented executive and political presence. The pre-war coach-built limousines preserved the social architecture of old world wealth. Different countries, different systems, different meanings. But all of them were built around the same deeper idea. A limousine is a private world moving through public space. That is why abandonment changes them so dramatically. A sports car abandoned in a barn feels like lost performance. A pickup abandoned in a field feels like forgotten labor. But a limousine abandoned in dust feels like vanished authority. The passenger is gone. The chauffeur is gone. The ceremony is over. And yet, the engineering remains. The long wheelbase, the silent cabin, the partition glass, the deep seats, the heavy doors, the chrome grille, the careful materials, the mechanical systems built to make power feel effortless. These cars were designed to make people feel untouchable. Time proved otherwise. And perhaps that is why abandoned limousines are so compelling. They remind us that no machine, no matter how expensive, can fully protect the world that created it. Empires change. Companies disappear. Governments fall. Families lose fortunes. Ceremonies fade. But sometimes the limousine survives, waiting in a garage, a warehouse, a museum basement, or a private collection, still carrying the shape of its original purpose. Not transportation, not speed, authority, ceremony. That is the hidden engineering inside these cars. They were engineered not only to move bodies, but to move status. And when they are forgotten, they become some of the most haunting machines in automotive history. If these forgotten limousines still speak to you, subscribe to Timeless Treasures and tell me which one you would save from the dust.